Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and as a huge zombie fan, I was excited to find out we have a new zombie show on Netflix. I just checked out the first episode. Some people in my Discord were like, yo, Ronnie, are you going to talk about this? Because it's actually pretty good. I will say, we're going to talk about the episode, but before we get into some spoilers, just a spoiler-free little tidbit. I highly recommend it. Go watch it, especially if you like Train to Busan. Now, I did an ultimate video giving Train to Busan a cinema score. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it right now. Remedy that. Go watch it. Go watch the Flaw Saw, where I give it a cinema score. I put a lot of effort putting that video together. I stand by that one as one of the best videos I've made on the channel so far. And the zombies in particular is what you're going to look for because I believe they're both from South Korea. The movies were both made in South Korea, so they kind of have that similar flair when it comes to the zombies. You have the bones cracking, some of the bodies contort into really messed up positions. They're fast moving and running. There's something a little bit different. Like I said, there's 12 episodes, so this is a show. There's 12. I only seen the first episode so far, and there seems to be something that's a little different. We're going to get into that in a minute as far as how the zombies act, but for the most part, it's very similar, and you have a school setting where it introduces you to the zombies. A really cool opener, atmospheric, introduces you to the zombies, or a hint of the zombie virus, and then we go to the school setting. It sets up clusters of the characters, in how they're intertwined, their friendships, and then towards the end it gets into the outbreak, mainly at the school. Now I'm interested to see where it's going to go, because I did see a trailer a while back, and it seemed like it was primarily at the school for a good chunk of it. That's the feeling I got. So go check it out. For the rest of you that have watched it, we're going to discuss it. Some of the things that I personally liked, jumping right into it, was... before you leave for the spoiler-free people, Doomsday Kingdom, issue 5 and 6 are up for pre-order. Go ahead, I'll do a separate video maybe tomorrow or the next day talking about it, but they're up for pre-order, and we still have a few volume 1s left. You can order that, and it ships now. It has the volume plus 5 mini posters. You'll see the bundle, doomsdaykingdom.com. But again, issue 5 and 6 for the very first time in physical form. Go ahead and get your pre-orders in. We're going to be making the final push for February, and then hopefully we'll be shipping in March as long as everything goes good. So I'll keep you up to date on that. Anyway, jumping into the intro, nice, crisp, clean rooftop with some atmosphere. You got the rain. I dig it because I sat down with my daughter to watch this. She saw a trailer too and was real hyped to check it out. And it's a group of kids that apparently were bullying this kid. He went to kill himself, and they're annoyed at him because one of the bullies was named in his suicide note. Anyway, when he's on the ground, it confused me a bit because you see this... At first I thought it was them being overdramatic with the bully stepping on his face, and I was like, oh, that's a bit much, don't you think? Like, we get it, it hurts. You don't have to do like this effect. But then because nothing happened, we didn't see any zombie shit at this point, just a kid getting bullied. But then he turns into a bit of a zombie, but then he breaks out of it later. And that's the different thing that I said threw me off a little bit. Some of them have, it looks like bubbling of the skin. And again, this is somewhat different from Train to Busan. And obviously, outside of that, so far, they're almost identical to the zombies in Train to Busan, just to give you a reference point. But this whole thing of, being a zombie, having the zombie rage is what it appears. And then getting your humanity back for a slim moment, and then getting the zombie rage again. That's what happens here from this moment where he goes nuts. So now he turns into a zombie. He attacks a bit, and then we get this friggin' scene. This is badass. Is this the one? Yeah. Shit. So me and my daughter sitting down. This is the very beginning. And we're sitting down and we're like, yeah, this is a good opener. I like the rain. Nice and atmospheric. And then this guy just yeets him. Damn. That's some failed Spider-Man shit right there. One thing I want to highlight, some of the special effects, even when they're not overly smooth, because there's another time later in the episode where there's special effects that, you can tell there's a little bit of some wobble there, some like a rubbery kind of fluid. Not only rubbery, but the visuals. But there's something weird going on where it's still not overly a negative, like when we saw that one deer on The Walking Dead, where it was just a shit special effects of the deer superimposed on the shot that they had with Rick, and the deer was in the background and it was eaten by I think it was like a Ferris wheel that fell down or something. The effect just looked terrible. But in here, they add a little bit of a style to them. There's a couple moments, I'll point them out. And you can tell it's not polished fully, but it still looks good. I don't know. I just wanted to point that out because I give it credit. And I think that's where I don't know the budget. I don't know anything about this other than it's zombies and it's a show. I don't know the budget. However, I think that's something to keep in mind for especially independent projects. If you have a special effects that you're not going to be able to not polish it and refine it out the blue, do something style-wise to kind of make up for that. Make it still visually pleasing. There is a little bit that can, like here.
Huh? Everything.
He gets his humanity back. He's talking to his dad, and then he's like, I'll kill them all. I'm hoping that's going to lead into something where there's more to it. That feels like some type of build up into a promise for a season 2 where there's, I don't know, some type of slightly modified version of a zombie. But we'll see. It might not be anything. But his dad ends up beating him. I thought he beat him to death. I thought he put him down. But he picks up a soft Bible. So maybe he just knocks him out. Because even my daughter was like, how is he going to take a zombie out with a Bible? I mean, like, it's a soft Bible, too. I don't even think he's going to knock him out. I don't think you can even knock out a human with that. But small little nitpicks, because we get into nice camera work with this show. They pan around to the school. You see some of the teachers, some of the students. This girl has an interaction with a little mouse. She gets bit. She becomes one of the other first zombies there. And for the most part, there's this little chunk of time that is just setting up the students. And even when it wasn't zombie action, even when there wasn't action going on, there's still, even in foreign, movies, entertainment, there's still this need. You can sense it, even in this production where it wasn't over the top and terrible. And I know saying forced is kind of forced nowadays, but it does feel a bit forced. There's a gang of bullies, so it makes sense that they would just bully people, and there's a handful of people that are bullied. But some of it feels like, okay, we get it. It is in the public eye, especially current day. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like the social commentary on bullying, In the very beginning, the kid's being bullied. Even in the middle, they show a girl that's being bullied, another kid that's being bullied. Later on, there's something that they do well with it from being bullied. The girl goes up on the roof. She's had enough, been tormented for a while. I'm pretty sure it's in this episode, ain't it? Yeah, she's on this roof. And for a minute there, I thought I was like, did I watch more than that? And she's about to jump. She's having a moment with another kid that is bullied with her. And this was badass. I like this a lot. You can see what I mean, though. The special effects aren't polished and refined all the way. But still, the concept of the scene, she's just about to jump. Zombies are kicking off in the school. Her friend-ish is kind of saying, like, don't jump, like, I like you, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, just don't go near my body. She turns around to jump, and out the window, I thought it would have been fine having, one or two zombies jump out, but there's a bunch that go out the window. But I really like that scene. I think I skipped the nurse one, too, because there was a big chunk here. Yeah, I thought they did pretty good. Sometime. There was some time at a certain point I did feel like, okay, we're getting enough of the school kids. We are setting them up. Kind of get to the point. They do something clever, though, having the one girl get bit early on. I thought that saved it, because you have this big chunk where they're introducing us. So the zombie action has got to be on the back burner. But you have this girl get bit, and then it's the teacher that locks her up. So you have the student that's locked up, and you just think, okay, she's going to get out and be the outbreak. And again, I don't know where this is going to go. I haven't seen the other episodes. I don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say marinate on one character, one moment, one scene, and that character ends up being nothing. But it seems like she's similar to a patient zero. We've already seen, like, his son, the teacher's son, as a zombie. But for her, she's infecting people in the school, in the hospital. She's like our official patient zero for the outbreak that we're witnessing. Anyhow, so they do something smart where they're introducing the class, but they also have this event. You got the mystery, the creepy teacher has her locked up. She's going to get out and bite people, but they do it interesting where she gets out and she runs to the class and snitches on the teacher, and you're like, oh shit, okay. You have this moment where you have a crazy teacher, locked up a girl, chained her up, shot her up with drugs. So obviously you're thinking, oh man, the school's gonna be like, yo, we got a criminal. we got he's probably a serial killer or a serial something, That part threw me for a loop. Again, I don't know if it's a culture thing, but the other teachers they went to the school leadership, or not leadership, but the principal, supervisor, and the supervisor was like, how dare you call the ambulance? And immediately I'm like, pfft. Now I know some schools will probably, I don't know, they definitely cover shit up. I know I've seen some shit in school, but something of this magnitude in America, I just don't see it, But this principal supervisor were like, yeah, even though the girl was chained, drugged, and beaten, she's all bloodied up. Why'd you call the cops? Telling people that part lost me a bit, because they caught the teacher even. He admitted it. He was like, yeah, she's got to be quarantined, yada, yada, yada. Now, obviously, that storyline doesn't go anywhere else, but we don't need it to, because it did what it did. It kind of helped add some interesting elements throughout the story while we're meeting the students. We did get a pretty cool outbreak. This is the one I missed. The teacher is sitting here. The bully kids are making fun of her, and one of the bullies gets a righteous payback. I was trying to think of it. He doesn't look like a bully I remember from one of the earlier scenes.
What the hell?
Yeah, she gets blasted. But even then, you can see something is off with the special effects. But I dig it. I like it. She gets up and eats this tall kid, bites his face off. Friggin' awesome. And then this is where shit just hits the fan. A bunch of the kids go nuts. You saw that picture I froze it on earlier where the girl gets her face ripped off. And they have this outbreak in the cafeteria. Very reminiscent of Train to Busan, some of them. I will admit, they, like how they panned away there, that's something that Train to Busan stumbled on a couple times, having the buildup of the piles of zombies that just looked rubbery, looked real fake in the special effects. At least here, you can see they cut away there. That was a smart, because you see them break through, you don't need to see the whole mess, spill in. Because I don't think even a horde of people or zombies would do that. because it's not like water where it just spills over until it levels out. It would spill in initially, break through, but then it would be a stampede. It would take time for the other ones to crawl and step and, stampede over whatever's in front of it. It just wouldn't flow like that. Anyhow, one more thing I do want to mention before I shut this down, the meta aspect of it. Maybe it's because I did a recent Flaw vs. All review where we did a cinema score for Scream as well. We gave it a ranking, put it on the shelf behind me. Scream is very, very iconic for how it embraced the meta, the self-referential. They do that here where I'm not big on zombie material talking about zombies, even using the zombie name. And just because more often than not, it's in a comedic way when it's done. So it kind of steals some of the grounded and gritty grime of it all. But in here, for me so far, it is working. They even mention, this is probably the 100th time I said Train to Busan, but they even mention Train to Busan, and they mention these are zombies, and how this movie is filmed, what they're doing, or to show, and what they're doing with it so far. Yeah, this girl gets chomped, bro. What they're doing with it so far, it's definitely working. So I dig it. I recommend it. I'm going to check out episode 2 for sure, because we did start that one. I paused it so we can do a mini review. I'm going to check out episode 2. I'll come back and talk about that one. I do have another video that's coming up as well. I'll stretch it out, maybe put it up in a day or two, that way you guys get it. But it's totally nothing about entertainment. I already recorded it because it was just wild, and I missed you guys and I wanted to talk about something, so I did that. But let me know if you're seeing this, if you're interested. Maybe we'll just talk about another episode or two, and then I'll finish it out, and maybe we'll discuss the season in a whole, if there's interest. If there's no interest, here it is. I recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's called All of Us Are Dead. 12 episodes, an hour long each. Go ahead and check it out. Thoughts and opinions down below. I'm done talking, so it's your turn.